Welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm not gonna lie, this is take 2 of this video. I have to record it a second time because the other time it just decided to cut off halfway through. So that's great. But I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna jump right on into it. We finally got a good Thursday night primetime game with the Bengals and Ravens. I don't really know what's happening with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. It seems like they're getting it all put back together and then they fall apart and collapse like they did against the Texans. I just don't understand it. And the Ravens took a harsh loss against the Browns as well. So what's going on? Both teams need this win, and it's going to come down to who wants it more. And in my opinion, it's going to be the Ravens. I see the Ravens pulling away with this one. I really don't think it's going to be that close. It might be at first, but then the game's going to start getting pulled farther and farther away in the Ravens' favor. So I do have the Ravens winning. Up next, Cowboys Panthers. Another bye week like they had last week against the Giants. This is going to be a complete and total bloodbath. The Cowboys are going to destroy the Panthers with Bryce Bust. Is it that bad yet? Who knows? Who knows? I know it's only his rookie season, but he is. When you're getting compared to Jamarcus Russell, that is not a good sign for you. So you got to pull away from that real fast. So Cowboys over Panthers. Up next, Steelers Browns. The Steelers somehow still have a winning record, being outscored. And the Browns, Deshaun Watson is having season-ending surgery on his shoulder. So that's great. Worst trade and contract in NFL history, even worse than the Russell Wilson contract. Deshaun Watson's contract is fully guaranteed. What was it? 4 years, $230 million, and he's only played 12 games in 2 seasons. Not good. Not good. And you're going to be paying about $64 million to the cap space or cap hit after this season. Y'all are going to be screwed. I'm sorry. I don't know how far he can carry you guys. He was starting to look good and put it together, and then this happens. So I don't know. But with that said, and Kenny Pickett can't move the ball on offense either. I was surprised he even scored any points in the first half against the Packers. But I do have the Browns winning. I don't know who's starting at quarterback. Is it Dorian Thompson Robinson? Is that his name? DTR? Doesn't matter who starts. It could be PJ Walker. It could be David Blau. I do have the Browns. Their defense is just so good. The Steelers' defense is good too, but the Browns' defense is so much better. And they're good. And the Browns are even better. So I do have the Browns squeezing by. Up next, Bears at Lions. My Lions squeaking out 41-38 victory against the Chargers at their home. Absolutely needed that. The Lions of old would have lost that game. We are up. We are up. And I think the Bears are starting Justin Fields. Doesn't matter who starts. Yeah, there might be a little bit more. They might be a little bit better offensively with Justin Fields, but not much better. And the Lions are going to just eat them up, man. It's going to be not even close. Lions win. Up next, Chargers Packers. The Chargers are going to be out for blood after the way they lost to the Lions in their house. So whoever they play first, which happens to be the Packers, even at Packers home, sorry, it's just going to suck to be them. Jordan Love had a better game against the Steelers. He put up points in the first half, which never happens with the Packers. Can he build off of that? Who knows? But I do have the Chargers winning either way. Up next, Texans Cardinals. CJ Stroud is on pace to win MVP as a rookie, and if he does, he'd be the first rookie since Jim Brown in the 50s to win MVP. That is nuts. And Offensive Rookie of the Year at the same time. That is nuts. I don't even know what to say. And Kyler Murray, he played okay in his first game back. Of course, there's going to be some rust. Had a rushing touchdown, but no passing touchdowns and an interception. This is not going to be the get-right game for Kyler Murray. CJ Stroud is going to mollywop them. in their house. It might be a little bit of a fight. It might be closer than it needs to be, but the Texans are going to win either way. Up next, Jaguars and Titans. You know, even though I said the 49ers were going to win last week, I did not expect it to be that bad. Was it 34-3? That's bad. That is real bad. And with the Titans starting Will Levis, you know, his very first start, he threw for 4 touchdowns and killed it. He has not thrown a single touchdown since that game. In 2 other games, he has not thrown a touchdown besides his first. So can he bring it back together and play better against the Jags? Who knows? I do have the Jaguars winning at home in a bounce back game because they need it. If they want to stay ahead of the Texans, they need this win. Up next, Raiders and Dolphins. The Raiders are 2-0 after firing Josh McDaniels. I mean, he was just an idiot, so that shows you how that is. But they beat teams like the Giants and Jets. One really lowly, terrible team and one mid-ish team that can't move the ball on offense because they won't bench Zach Wilson. Are they just in denial? I don't know. But they're playing the Dolphins this week. This will literally be the first team, in my opinion, that the Dolphins beat that have at least a 500 record. Is that sad? Yes, it is. But you got to start somewhere, I guess. So the Dolphins are going to win at home, and it's not even going to be close. Up next, the Toilet Bowl, Giants versus the Commanders. God, Sam Howell, who would have thought? I'm willing to bet an entire mortgage that no one thought Sam Howell would be leading the NFL in passing yards at this point. You know, I got to say, me, myself, I thought he was going to be benched in at least by week 4. I thought Jacoby Brissett was going to be coming in and taking over. But Sam Howell is, you know, playing at least decent to above average. And I know Ron Rivera is going to be fired by the end of the season. He just has to be. He's getting washed. I don't know what's going on there. And the Giants starting Tommy DeVito, who invited his family to the game to watch him suck. He did have 2 touchdowns, though, but other than that, he sucked. So I don't even know what to say. Commanders are going to take this win and run with it. Up next, 49ers and Bucks. At 49ers home, Brock Purdy came back. Of course he did, because he had a healthy Deebo Samuel and a healthy Christian McCaffrey and everyone else like Brandon Ayuk. You know, he's almost getting that stigma to where, like when Deebo and Christian McCaffrey were banged up, they lost 3 games in a row. You don't want to really be known as that guy that can only win if you're surrounded by superstars. I'm not going to say he can't, but he didn't really prove a lot when those people went out with injury, and he played a lot worse. And of course, they come back and he throws for 3 touchdowns and destroys the Jaguars. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, he's been having a pretty good stretch the past couple of games. Of course, he lost to the Texans 2 weeks ago when C.J. Stroud threw for 5 touchdowns, and then they just beat the Titans and Will Levis, which at this point I feel like anyone can do that. So is that really impressive? But he did have 2 touchdowns, I think. Either way, I have the 49ers winning at home. There is absolutely no way they can blow this game to Baker Mayfield. Sure, Baker's been baking, but is he going to bake as good as he has been? How many times can you say the word bake in the same sentence? Who knows? Who knows? But with that said, I do have the 49ers baking Baker. I will stop now. Up next, Jets and Bills. I don't know if you guys saw how this Bills and Broncos game ended, but the Bills should have ran away with the victory, and they just said, you know what? Just take it, Broncos. We don't want it. Can't say I didn't call it. Can't say I didn't call it. You can go back. Got the receipts. I called it as I think the biggest upset of the week. And it happened. 24-22. Yep. But they tried the field goal at the end. Well, first it was set up by a pass interference. And then they tried the field goal. It was a 41-yard field goal, and it was missed wide right. And then they had 12 men on the field, so they got a retry with a 36-yard field goal, and then he made it, and you guys lost? How pathetic. How pathetic. Also, can't say I also didn't call this either. They fired their OC. It's almost like I'm psychic. Whatever the case is, Zach Wilson sucks that much more, though. So I do have the Bills winning. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers comes back sooner than later because you guys need him. You guys need him. And if the Jets do beat the Bills, it's time to start firing off the sirens because they'll be under 500. And could the Bills not make the playoffs if they lose to the Jets? Oh my goodness. But I do have the Bills winning. So up next, Seahawks and Rams. I don't know if Stafford is going to be. I heard that Stafford has a probable chance of starting. And they also signed Carson Wentz. So could we get a Carson Wentz master class up in here on the Rams versus Geno Smith? Man, what a show out that would be. Geno Smith and Carson Wentz. I'm all for it. Come on, I'm all for it. Please give that to us, Rams. We need it. We need it. Although Stafford needs to come back. With that said, though, I do have the Seahawks winning this, even though the Rams, I think, beat them when they played the first time. But I do have the Seahawks evening that out and winning at the Rams' home. And I do have Geno at least playing a little bit better than he has been. He has not been playing great. And it's almost like I said before that Geno's not going to be starting past this season. But I do have them winning. Up next, Vikings-Broncos. Broncos coming off a heck of a win. So are the Vikings. Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut, is really putting it together. He's only been with the team for like 11 days or however long. Barely even knows who the hell he's throwing it to. And he's just like, you know what? Screw it. Someone's down there somewhere. Or heck, I'm going to take off and run myself. As a Lions fan, this kind of scares me. Because if Josh Dobbs happens to be that guy, you know, great for the Vikings and all, but like, when it comes to playing against the Lions, I'm going to root for the Lions. Like, I want the Vikings to lose if they're playing the Lions. But if they're not playing the Lions and they're not hurting the Lions at winning the division, then heck yeah, go on, Josh Dobbs. I need them to lose at least 1 or 2 games, though, so the Lions can get more comfortable ahead in that NFC race, or NFC North race. So I'm going to predict just that. I'm going to predict that the Broncos upset the Vikings again in Sunday Night Football. And it's going to be, I think this is actually going to be a thrilling game. The Broncos defense has been stepping it up. The Vikings defense is, it's all right. Russell Wilson has been kind of pulling it back together. Josh Dobbs, like I said, he's been firing on all cylinders. But I do have the Broncos squeaking out a win again. I don't know if they'll win how they beat the Bills, but, you know, never know until it happens. Up next, another finally good primetime game. Monday Night Football. Super Bowl rematch. Eagles and Chiefs. Man, this should be a shootout. This should be fireworks. This should be a pretty high-scoring affair. Should be. Should be. Jalen Hurts, I still am saying this now. Jalen Hurts has not been playing as good as he should be. He just hasn't. Neither has Mahomes, for that matter. Both of these quarterbacks who should be top 3 quarterbacks, maybe Jalen Hurts top 5, Mahomes definitely top 3. Top 2 even. He should be. But he's not. Neither of them are playing like it. I do see both quarterbacks and offenses clicking in this game. I don't see any defense being played like how it was for the Chargers-Lions game. Someone's going to win by a field goal, maybe even less. Someone's going to win by like 1 or 2 points. Basically, whoever gets one stop in this game is going to win. That's how I see it happening. But I do have the Chiefs at Arrowhead squeezing out the win. It is so hard to come into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. I mean, the Lions did. I am gonna take that and run. I don't care if any receiver dropped the ball, and I don't care they didn't have Travis Kelce, and thank God he wasn't with Taylor Swift at the time because they might have destroyed us. Don't care, though. We still went either way. Brian Branch got a pick six in his first game, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Eagles and Chiefs, and I have the Chiefs barely squeezing out the win against the Eagles. So to recap, I have the Ravens, Cowboys, Browns, Lions, Chargers, Texans, Jaguars, Dolphins, Commanders, 49ers, Bills, Seahawks, Broncos, and Chiefs. Those are my picks for the week. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I will respond if you leave one. And you guys have a great rest of your week. And I'll be back in week 12 for predictions. Have a good one.